Today, I'll be going over the JamCraft Datapack and kind of the features that are included, and hopefully that'll be a reason that'll make you want to play. This kind of datapack is good for people who enjoy vanilla survival, but want to add a little bit of extra stuff to kind of make it a bit more difficult and have a bit more progression to the game. Starting off, I added 7 custom armor sets. Each are crafted with the normal armor recipe, using this as the base material. We added obsidian, redstone, skulk, emerald, amethyst, invisible, and frozen netherite. Each thing kind of has their own gimmick. Redstone gains speed. Obsidian has higher durability with armor toughness, but not quite as good of armor as diamond. Skulk adds the highest armor you can get, along with sneaking speed. Emerald adds max health bonus points. Amethyst adds XP bonus. Invisible is invisible, so people can't see when you're wearing it. So if I am wearing this whole armor set, you'll see I got the armor points, but when you take a look at it, you can't see it. So, and also if you really like your skin, it's a little fun one to have. And then frozen netherite is the strongest overall, may not have the highest armor points, but with the armor toughness and armor, this is going to reduce the most damage. And then lastly, with an extra knockback resistance over netherite. Then we have the tool variations for all of them except for the invisible set, as invisible tool seems kind of pointless to me. And again, they all have their gimmicks alongside them. Most of them are iron based, with the exception of skulk and obsidian are diamond based, so they can break the same things a diamond can, just faster than diamond. Amethyst is also iron based with XP bonus, and then frozen netherite is netherite based, but just faster than netherite. And as far as you can see that all these are vanilla items except for frozen netherite ingots, which you can craft like so. Just a block of netherite surrounded by blue ice. I had a little thing called enlighten. This is really useful for when you're in raids and you need to know where monsters are. This will go ahead and give them glowing effect and a 50 block radius to know where they're hiding. Light block, any kind of torch material will do. I just use soul torch, but regular torch, redstone torch, copper torch, all those will work for this recipe. And that'll give you a 15 light source that will be invisible in survival. But I added a way to combine netherite chest plates only. This doesn't work on any other chest plate except for netherite. Combine them to get the wings, so you can have elytra while also having good armor. So next up, I added a faster saddle. All you need is a diamond and a saddle, and boom, it's a premium saddle. I felt like horses were just a bit too slow, especially how they get outpaced with elytra. This kind of makes them feel a little bit stronger early game without them feeling like they break the game. You'll notice a good amount of speed increase with that. I added a stronger version of a golem. So if you grab one of these, and if we go into survival, we can go ahead and summon supreme golems. These guys are insanely buffed. They're equivalent to about a level 70 mob in this game. And I added levels to monsters, which we'll go over in a moment. But it's a nice little way to craft a stronger ally for yourself. Same thing with dogs, but use diamond blocks surrounded by a bone to get a strong wolf. Kind of like the elytra, I combined a shield and a totem into one. So now your totem can also block things like a shield can. And it's smaller, so it'll take up less of your screen using the totem's item model. And again, that'll be with the smithing table. You'll just go ahead and throw those in there to combine it. I added a recipe for tridents, so let's say you're just getting unlucky with them. You can just go ahead and craft them once you find some guardians to kill, and they drop the shards with the recipe like so. Kind of like the horses with the saddle, we add all the harness variants. If you just add a feather on top, they gain extra flying speed. Since happy guests are way too slow, this extra speed really makes a big difference without it feeling, again, like it's overpowered. Like Elytras are still definitely faster, but when you're looking for the mid-game experience, Happy Guest flying is so strong with this. I also had a little bit of guns. Guns need ammo to shoot, and so pistol requires pistol ammo. If I go ahead and grab some of this, you'll see we can fire from pretty decent away. And then same thing with blasters. Blasters get the blaster ammo. Same recipe as before, but with just more iron. And all the way up to an assault rifle, which uses iron blocks. And then it needs AR magazines. I also added loot crate, which I did not grab there. That recipe will grant you one of these. And if you just go ahead and right click one of them, it'll give you an item from my custom loot system, which will vary. That's also how you get spells and wands, which is what I'm going to go over next. So let's say you have a spell and you have a wand. A wand is a stick with some sort of magic damage on it. You just go ahead and throw them in the anvil, and now it has the spell attached. So if I right click on any of my wands, I get this basic attack that's kind of similar to the gun, but it's got shorter range. And then if I left click, it uses its custom spell mechanic. So I think there's like 7 spells. There's ice, fire sweep, gravity, lightning, rock throw, divine flame, heal, teleportation. So that's 8. There's 8 spells. And they each have a cooldown. The left click variant has a longer cooldown, but it deals more damage. And the left also requires mana, while the right click does not consume any mana. So if you see a right click on the right hand of my screen, I have 690 mana. When I left click, it went down the 20 mana that it costs there. On top of spells, I added a lot of custom enchantments. These are just going to be a couple that I'll demonstrate, but I believe there's over 100 custom enchantments that I've added. And I'll, of course, upload the document that kind of goes over all of what they do. Mini decreases your size and your health and armor, since having a smaller hitbox is just really strong. You're a lot more fragile when you're small, which to me just kind of makes sense. The opposite is also growth. If you're bigger, you gain more health, more range, and higher attack damage. I guess I could also add block range, but that's on a chest plate. Yeah, Maniac Miner, it adds block interaction range and break speed. Leaf Walker, this is a really fun one and really annoying. I cannot fall ever, so if I'm sprinting with this, this will keep up with me. Though I think if you have the speed effects, I don't know how fast they'll keep up with you. These are decaying leaves, so they are going to go away on their own, assuming they're not touching any blocks. And you can go downwards. All you have to do is break the block below you and go downwards. I found that useful for the nether travel. This does replace air blocks, so it's not going to destroy existing blocks. So let's say I'm over here. It won't like replace these. It'll only replace air blocks. For prismatic, let's say you have some diamond blocks. Prismatic says that there is a chance it'll be a block form. So it's about a 50% chance, so kind of makes sense we get 2 and 2. You have a chance to get it in the block or in the normal ore, or the normal response. And it works for any of the ores. So we grab some gold. That one we got a little extra. Auto smelt. Anything that can be smelted, it will give us the ingot form instead of the raw form. For our bow, if we go ahead and give ourselves some arrows. Rain of arrows will just multiply the arrows, kind of like multi-shot for a crossbow, but this works for the bow. Trap, this is a crossbow only, and when fired on the target, it has a chance to trap them in cobwebs. see if we can get this to trigger on the golem. That's a low chance. Wow. Okay, there we go. Now it works. It's pretty strong, so the chance is a little bit lower. But as you can see, he's now just completely stuck in the cobwebs. Next up, we have Wither 3. If I hit this, he has a chance to get Wither, which it looks like it procced on the first try. Lifesteal. Let's take a little bit of damage. Okay, that's a lot of damage. Has a chance to heal me on my hits. You'll see that when I kill them, I got that XP there. It says 400 XP out of some other number, and that's the amount of XP that I need to level up. And once you get enough XP, you'll level up, and whenever you level up, you get ability points. So if you go ahead and type trigger mmo.openmenu.trigger, you can see all the options you can put your ability points into. You get a max of, I think, 102 ability points, if I'm not mistaken, because max level is 101. You get an ability point for every level you complete. So I think just 101 ability points then. Each ability can get maxed out at 25. And I can either select any of my abilities from here, or I can just use the shortcut, which is the trigger command. Also, every time I open the menu, I'll always see my stats to see how many ability points I have, my current level, and what my ability points are currently in. So let's say I wanted to add some extra defense. I would do mmo.defense.trigger. That would increase my defense, and that would take away one of my ability points. As you can see, when I summon these husks, they got levels. The higher the level, the more gear and stronger gear it'll have a chance to spawn with it. It'll also increase their health, their speed, and their base damage. Their level is dependent on how far away they are from spawn. So spawn is always 0, 0 in the map. And if we go ahead and TP to negative 9,000, 7,000. Whoops. This monster is going to be way higher level. So level 100. So at a certain point, it's just going to be level 100. I think the first 2,000 blocks are all free for the player, so it'll only be level 1, and then every like 200 to 400 blocks away from spawn you get, it'll increase by 5. So yeah, you can see this guy has a chance to get like a totem, netherite armor with enchantment, and then every 10 levels, you'll also get a dungeon key. So if I go ahead and give myself that, spawn my level 10 dungeon. There we go. It'll summon a structure with monsters inside that will reset. So if I go ahead and come into here, it'll use these trial spawners to summon in the custom monsters, and they all drop custom dungeon loot. So each dungeon will have custom dungeon loot that you can beat. And these spawners all reset after 30 minutes, so you can redo another dungeon to keep trying to get more and more loot. Or if I do trigger, let's say this, okay, function, cosmetics, give all cosmetics. Let's say I unlock the skin. I can go ahead and apply any skin I want that I've added on any of my weapons. Let's say I wanted a air dagger B. This will just change my weapon skin to any 3D model that I've set in place. Or I wanted to dagger multi B. It'll change to that. But if you have any questions on how I did anything else in the data pack, let me know, and I can make a separate video discussing the process and how that works. Otherwise, that'll do it for now.